Deep Shot Podcast, Season 4, Episode 38.
Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah. George Rogers, Adrian Amos.
Okay. Who could
Former
forget
Packer.
Adrian Amos?
Who could forget?
All right. Well, welcome to another episode of the Deep Shot Podcast. It is a huge week. It is first round of the college football playoffs, week 16 of the NFL. And if you missed out on one of my YouTube videos I made the other day, the transfer portal is not open yet, but it's a lot of names are declaring themselves in there, including one of Caleb's boys, DJ Lagway. We'll talk about that all here today. Before we get into that, just want to remind you, follow on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I say that every episode. Want to just remind you guys, we are on the climb. And the way we get there is with your support. Tell your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, your grandpa, follow Deep Shot Sports. Subscribe on the YouTube. If you've been paying attention, I've been posting some clips, been trying to make a little more content. Would appreciate your support there. And then last thing, make sure you guys also download the Shark Bets app on the App Store. M. Piacenti, #1 sports betting analyst in 2024 and 2025. You download the app. If you have a Android or an iPhone, download it, turn on your push notifications, and boom, you get her picks right before the games for Monday night, Sunday night, Sunday during the day, Thursday night, anything you want. That's Shark Bets app on the App Store. We lost Jake here for a second. This guy has been having technical difficulties for weeks now. Now, you would think, you get on the podcast twice a week, you would try to figure that stuff out maybe before you get on the podcast, but that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. We will see if he figures it out. There he is. Here we go.
Hey, we can see him.
There we go. He's back. Let's see if he can hold it. We see if we can hold steady here for a little bit.
We'll
Jake.
see. We'll see.
All right.
Doubt it.
All right. Let's talk about the transfer portal before we talk about this weekend's college football playoff games. The transfer portal is the big buzz, which it always is at this time of the year. If you haven't been paying attention, and like I said, I made the video, check it out on YouTube. There's only one transfer portal window this season, right? There's not going to be one in the spring. They announced that it is going to be January 2nd through January 16th. That is the only transfer portal we are getting now. So it's not technically open yet, but there are plenty of names who have basically said, hey, I'm heading there. DJ Lagway, Sam Levitt, Dylan Raiola, Aiden Childs, Brendan Swordsby, all quarterbacks here. There's other guys other than quarterbacks, but these are the big names right now. And there's probably going to be other big names on teams that, or players that are on teams in the playoffs that we just haven't heard about yet, and they haven't had to make that decision. Let's just start with you. You said this like a couple months ago. You wanted DJ Lagway gone when Lane Kiffin came in. Half of that came true. You got half of what you wanted. How do you feel about DJ Lagway hitting the road? And apparently it's because John Summerall and him had a really bad, tough first meeting.
Well, things need to be a little bit more tougher than DJ Lagway in his life. I mean, he's had it easy at Florida, and you can say, well, he's played in the SEC. I'm talking about his lifestyle, like day to day. Like he hasn't had to grit, grind, survive. I mean, think about it. When he came in there, Graham Mertz was starting quarterback, and it was just kind of like, play when you can. Then he got hurt, and it was just kind of rosy. Well, this is all we got left. So there's never any competition. And DJ didn't have any competition last year. In fact, it was in his NIL deal that he could not start. So do it.
What's in the deal?
That's a very common thing, by the way. Very, very common thing. You know, when those coaches come out with the big time guys at the schools that aren't as big time, like, Ohio State and Georgia, Texas are not cutting deals like that, but some schools are. So anywho, you got stuff like that going on with DJ Lagway. And also too, he was making $4 million plus at Florida last year, which is an insane clip. You're talking about, if you're talking over the cap and the stuff that is in the revenue share, 10, 15, 20% of your team's total NIL is tied up in one player who threw one more touchdown than interceptions last year. Just not exactly where you want your funds allocated. And I think Summerall did the right thing. You got to come in the building. First thing you got to do is check the quarterback, make sure the driver of the car knows how to turn the ignition on. And we haven't seen it on the field. If you can say whatever you want to at home, coaches, players, you hadn't done either. If you are asked to do a job and you get interviewed and people ask in your interview who you are and what you believe in and the reasons why you should have the position that you're in, and you can't answer them, your ass is fired. Point blank simple. And the same thing happened to DJ Lagway here. And look, he's a good enough player. He's probably going to get fixed wherever he goes. He's probably going to play pretty well. That's my prediction. So bittersweet. It's kind of weird seeing him like posting Florida stuff like 2 days before he's like, yeah, I'm out of here, pal. But listen, I will say this is more indicting on my head coach This dude ain't coming here messing around with nobody, and nobody's just being given anything. Like Billy Napier did give DJ Lagway the starting job this entire year. Tramel Jones probably should have played a couple games over him, or hell, pull him after 4 picks against LSU. Never happened. Wonder why.
But I mean, that's the thing that I'm like caught up on is I don't understand. Like, obviously, DJ Lagway has always been a great quarterback, right? Like going through high school, and he had his flashes last year. This is probably the only adversity he's ever gone through as a quarterback in his career. So he probably has the confidence of a lion at this point. But I mean, dude, you got a brand new head coach. Like, what do you expect? And like what I saw posted was that John Summerall came into the conversation like it was an NFL draft like interview. It was like asking him questions like you were bringing up, Caleb, like hard questions that didn't answer it the way that Summerall wanted. But at the end of the day, this was a DJ Lagway decision. This was not John Summerall like saying, "Hey, I think you need to pack your bags and look for another position." But I mean, I can't say that I think this is a bad deal for Florida. I mean, listen, I've been banging the drum that DJ Lagway has been overrated since this summer. Some said it was the worst take in DFL sports history, but I mean, here we are and he's gone. But so we'll visit that another day. But I don't know. It's interesting. And then like you put that on top of that, you know, with Florida getting Georgia Tech, getting Buster Faulkner, getting their offensive coordinator. Looks like Aaron Philo, who's going to be the quarterback set up to be at Georgia Tech this year. He seems like he's going to be on the way to Florida.
Is that what you're hearing, Caleb? Is that what the message boards are saying?
That's what the scuttlebutt is out of Gainesville, because he's going to be a lot cheaper. I mean, they're just trying to redistribute and reallocate a lot of the money. The fight's being put up for Jaden Ball right now in order to keep him, but yeah, that is the scoop right now.
What about
Aaron Philo? They're trying to go for 2 quarterbacks. Let's get that out there. They're going to portal 2 quarterbacks.
What about the guy, the BYU that was at Tulane with Summerall? You know, like
Retzlaff?
Yeah.
Is he put his name in the hat yet?
I don't know.
I've seen one Tulane guy that's thrown their hat in the ring, and it's one guy that's All American. I expect him. He's a defensive lineman. He'll probably be in Gainesville next year. Retzlaff's a good player. I mean, if he throws his name in the portal, it'd be hard for us to believe that he doesn't make it down there. But I think Summerall's not an offensive guy. He didn't work with Retzlaff every day, but he liked the makeup of the player. So I don't think he's going to just be like, oh, well, he needs to be here, because you kind of want Buster to have his guy. And let's make no mistakes about it, folks. For those of you that don't know who Aaron Philo is, all-time leader in the state of Georgia in passing yards, okay? In the records of Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Jake Fromm, and the likes of those. I've seen
and Jake Johnston.
Yep.
Those records too.
Yep. I've seen him with my own eyes. He looks more like a quarterback than just about any other quarterback I've ever seen. And I've seen Trevor Lawrence. I've seen Jake Fromm. Like, he just is put together. And by the way, he put 300 yards per game up in his 2 starts that he's had at Georgia Tech. And some of that stuff was against Miami last year in a win, by the way.
I was at the game last year when they played NC State and won on like Thursday night. And he did. He got a really good game.
Guy can play, and he can run really well too. So I hope that's who we get.
Some other names in the transfer portal: Dylan Raiola. Hilarious that the guy that went to 4 different high schools, made this huge comeuppance about where he was going, is now in the transfer portal. And this was kind of writing on the wall. It's his brother was decommitted. I think it's his uncle was the coach there, is no longer a coach there. Dylan Raiola, I saw reports where apparently he reached out to Oregon. I'm not sure Oregon would be a great fit, or at least this Dan Lanning in general would be a great fit with Dylan Raiola and what it seems like he comes with. I don't know where that guy's going to go. That seems like anyone's guess is as good as mine.
Seems like a poor decision to leave in my book.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that argument, but what I saw was that someone reached out to Texas Tech because, I mean, I think I said it on the pod a few weeks ago, like, hey, don't be surprised if he tries to go to Texas Tech, tries to be like Mahomes. But apparently Texas Tech's not interested in him, which I think's awesome. But based on the stuff I saw today, they said keep an eye on Louisville, that he could be going to Louisville.
Louisville seems to be a hot name in a lot of these.
Yeah, because I think like Miller Moss will be gone this year. I believe. I can't say that with 100% certainty, but I do think that this will probably be his last year in college for his eligibility. So they got a question mark to answer. And I'll say this about Dylan Raiola. Like, is he incredibly cringy, like doing the whole Patrick Mahomes, like warm up and doing the hand by his ear? Like, yeah, it's incredibly cringy. The guy can play ball. I mean, like, he's not an incredible player by any means. I'm not saying that he's going to win the Heisman and he's going to be a number 1 draft pick, all this. But, I mean, when we're considering Nebraska football and when we're considering Louisville football, I think he's definitely good enough to play there, go there and play an ACC schedule. I think he can make some plays. So I don't think it would be a bad move for Louisville in the slightest to get a guy, well, at least with his upside.
No, it wouldn't even be a bad move for Florida. I'll be honest. I actually had this conversation with somebody the other day. Like, I would not be upset one bit if Dylan Raiola was my quarterback. I mean, some of the decision-making stuff is a little off. I think that Sumrall is a strong enough personality that he'd be able to tamp some of that shit down that he's got going on off the field or on the field that people don't like. But, you're talking Texas Tech. I think a name that you've got to watch for Texas Tech is Braden Sorsby, the guy that's
Brendan
at Cincinnati. Brendan. I think it is Brendan. Let's get it right.
We gotta say names
Sorsby.
right here in Deep Shot Podcast.
We get grilled for that one. Brendan Sorsby is the quarterback at Cincinnati this year. Had a pretty decent year. Apparently, I heard that he's involved in NFL draft stuff too, so maybe there's that. I'm just gonna be honest. I've seen the guy play. I don't see how that's even in the realm of possibility. But he's heavily linked to Texas Tech just because his girlfriend just committed to Texas Tech for volleyball.
I saw reports about him going to Indiana too, which he was at Indiana before Cignetti got there.
Really?
So maybe a little homecoming there. Yeah, if you watched my YouTube video that I made yesterday, you would have known that. Just again, go back, check. So the Indiana, Texas Tech, those seem like the ones. I did not know about his girlfriend. That is interesting. I've watched that guy, and I watched him play against Nebraska in week 1, and he could not throw the ball. Guy was, if you didn't watch the Nebraska-Cincinnati game in Arrowhead Stadium in week 1 on Thursday night, first of all, you need to watch more balls. Second of all, the Cincinnati was awful that whole first half. In the second half, they came back. Basically, because he ran for like 100 yards in the second half, and then they threw an interception on the game-winning drive, a chance to win the game. Anyway, but it'll be interesting. They did have a good year in the Big 12. I don't know. And then Sam Leavitt, last one I really want to talk about is a quarterback at Arizona State, played in the playoffs last year with Scatterbo. He was kind of hurt all season long, so things didn't really go the way they wanted to. Obviously, there in Tempe, however you say it. Tempe, Arizona. I'll be flying there next week. But he's basically the hottest name in there, it seems like. It seems like he is number one. Like, he's going to have his pick. All right. Now, that seems like something where he could end up at Oregon. That seems like the favorite, where I feel like whoever is the number one quarterback, which it seems like it's Leavitt, Oregon's going to be there. Miami's obviously a big name. LSU's a big name. I didn't even ask you this, Caleb. How upset would you be if DJ Lagway went to LSU with Lane Kiffin and they won the SEC?
That's one I haven't thought about. Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. LSU does need a quarterback, but it would be really weird of Lane to go after that and not try and get Trinidad Chambliss jump in the portal.
Yeah. That could happen as well.
I've said this on some text threads, so I know y'all have heard this take, but I don't think I've said it on the podcast. So just like for the podcast listeners, I just want to put this out there. If you want to know what the crystal ball is saying for Jake Johnston, I see Bryce Underwood at Michigan. I see him hitting the portal once it opens up. With all that stuff going on at Michigan, I could see him hitting the portal. I think he's going to be the quarterback at LSU. That's where I think he's going to go. And I think that DJ Lagway is going to go to Miami. That's what I see. That's what my crystal ball is telling me.
I mean, if he does it, so be it, pal. Let him go party down there. He seems to be. I think just the makeup of the kid doesn't even make sense for him to go to Miami to me.
What about Sam Leavitt?
Like he would go back home. Sam Leavitt's an interesting conversation to me because, if we go back to the preseason, like I think we had an argument and we had it out on here. Like I thought Sam Leavitt was really, really good. And you guys were like, well, all right. I still think he's really good. I think that team underperformed and he kind of needs better athletes around him, but it's hard to say like Jordan Tyson and then him were not the best players on the team this year for them. So I think if Oregon has quarterback openings, like everybody's just talking about Oregon, there's a decent chance that Dante Moore doesn't leave. Now, if he does get the first round grades that everybody expects him to get, because if he was to come out right now, I think he probably would be the number one pick since Ty Simpson kind of laid an egg at the last 4 weeks of the season. But if he stays, Oregon's in great shape. They're going to have to move on. And Leavitt's going to still probably stick somewhere on the West Coast, but it's hard to pinpoint somewhere exactly. Like you said, like the big dogs don't need any spots. Like USC doesn't need somebody. It would be weird for him to go from Arizona State to Arizona. He's going to be hunting for big game. So we'll see who's got an opening. This and what we talked about earlier, it's not even actually technically open. Just guys are telling you like, hey, let's go ahead and get the agents out of the way. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. Let's get the deals going. There's going to be more quarterbacks that jump in the portal. So more seats are going to need to be filled because more seats are going to be open.
Yeah, for sure. And
can I ask a question real quick? Just want to know. So when I said that about Bryce Underwood, Caleb was shaking his head. And, and I'm not even saying this from like a attacking point of view, but I just want to hear your take on why you think that that's not going to happen.
because the biggest donor for Michigan is named Larry Ellison. He's like the third richest man in the world, and they're not going to let him leave. I just think like the legal stuff up there, first of all, they're way ahead on legalese as it is. So if he tries to get out of the deal, transfer, he's probably going to get hosed somehow or another with all the signing bonus money. Because Michigan's just as a general institution doesn't usually screw things up like that. I'm saying that as they're in like 3 investigations.
Yeah.
But on the money side, though, I just don't see him getting more from LSU than he would get from Michigan. Like LSU's gonna have to pay a lot of players. And I understand Michigan's in the same front, but I think you get a little bit more of a discount for Michigan than you would LSU's quarterback.
Maybe.
That's just me. You know, like Bryce Underwood was committed down there for years and years and years, and maybe with Brian Kelly being gone, it gives him more reason to jump ship, especially when you consider he doesn't have an offensive coach now. That was the main guy who recruited him. So it's a weird situation for all involved at Michigan. Bryce Underwood, if Michigan loses Bryce Underwood, I think that's 20 times bigger of a blow than losing Sharon Moore.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, that guy didn't seem like he got better at all throughout the season anyway. And now they're going to have to, whoever Michigan hires, that's obviously what I would guess they're thinking about when they're thinking about hiring, like who's going to mesh well with this quarterback.
That's definitely priority number one.
Okay. And one last thing about transfer portal, Aiden Childs, Michigan State quarterback, he's going in there. I just wanted to bring this guy up because I don't know if you guys remember, but 2 years ago, we were going into week 1, and this guy had just started. This is when Jonathan Smith first got there, and he was at Oregon State. He came with Jonathan Smith. And Aiden Childs went on a press conference and told everyone to take the over in a game against Florida Atlantic. And I just want to say I did take that over, and it was 16-10 was the final score, and he won by he threw 2 interceptions. So I just want to say, Aiden Childs, wherever you go, I will not be taking your overs. Just want to say that. All right. Well, let's make a transition. Jake's making a transition out of the room. We'll see where he's going. Maybe his dog has to go to the bathroom. Not sure. But it is week. What do you want to call it? Playoff first week. College football playoff first round week. We'll call it that. College football playoff
like
first.
Yeah, it's like week 1, part 2.
Week 1, part 2. How about that? Week 1, part 2 of college football season. As we're recording this, I'm watching the Staff DNA Cure Bowl between South Florida and Old Dominion. You know, and
I need to get that on the TV.
Yeah, and this Friday, before you even get to the playoffs, you're going to get Kennesaw State playing Western Michigan in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. We're going to have plenty of games, and the biggest ones, though, are going to start in Norman, Oklahoma on Friday night. Alabama going to Oklahoma. Bama right now is a -1.5 point favorite. The over-under at 40.5. Ugly for a first-round playoff game. Oklahoma obviously won the first matchup this season, 23-21 in Tuscaloosa. First 3 turnovers. Really started the decline of Ty Simpson that we saw in November. Started the incline of the November Oklahoma Sooners. I mean, they won their last 4 games, did everything they needed to do, got themselves in the playoff, really jump-started with that game. Oklahoma won this game last year in Norman when Jalen Milroe went over there and threw 3 interceptions and basically ruined the season for Alabama. So Oklahoma has experience or has consistent proof that they can disrupt a Kalen DeBoer and Alabama offense. Oklahoma's offense, on the other hand, not good at all since the Mateer injury, which is crazy to think about. You know, weeks 1 through 6, how much praise this Oklahoma offense was getting. John Mateer was Heisman favorite, yada, yada. So there's basically 2 offenses that are not playing well, but have had 2 weeks to prepare. Who's going to have a better rushing attack? It's probably, it's a big thing, right? But both these teams can't run the ball anyway, so how big of a thing? I don't know. Jam Miller looks to be good to go for Bama. Torrey Blaylock has been the leading rusher for Oklahoma. Jaden Ott, you guys remember that guy? I don't know what he does. Will they have a day good enough where it takes the pressure off of Mateer and Ty Simpson, or will they be, Oklahoma going to have to rely on Mateer's legs the whole game and his arm? Ty Simpson going to have to throw the ball 50 times. I think there's a reason the over-under is as low as it is at 40.5. It's going to be hard to find confidence in either team, even with this extra time, because both defenses have the extra time too. And I'm just going to roll with the hotter team, and I'm going to roll with Oklahoma. I think they're going to get it done again. First of all, they own Alabama. They lead the country in sacks, and I think they're going to cause some pressure at home. Did you guys see where the whole school has no class that day, which is kind of crazy that there's even class on December 19th or December 20th? I mean, taking final exams a little late here in Norman, Oklahoma. But look, the place is going to be rocking. They have had a great November. They're going to keep it rolling. They've had extra week of rest compared to Oklahoma, and compared to Alabama, who had to play in the SEC championship game. And I think they're going to get to Ty Simpson. I think it's going to be they're going to cause some turnovers. It's going to be a great first round game, which is all I'm really hoping for at the end of the day, because obviously last year we had all these blowouts, and I just want to see a really good game.
Yeah. And I do think we will at least get that, Garrison. And if I agree with you, I'm going to take Oklahoma in this one. I think what you said was pretty spot on. Just because, I mean, I'm going to say this. I'll say this much. I don't think either one of these teams are that great. I really don't. I think this is a competition to see who's going to lose in the Rose Bowl next week. This is what this game is, because we can talk about the flaws that Alabama has and Ty Simpson not looking great, the run game not looking great, their defense is as physical as it's been in years past we're used to. But, I mean, let's not forget, I mean, Oklahoma has plenty of flaws, too. This is a team, the last game of the season, beat LSU by 4 points. This is a team that beat Missouri when Missouri has been terrible down the stretch. They beat them by 2 scores. We don't have any world beaters on either side, in my opinion. But I do think that the one what's the word I'm looking for? The one group that I can really put some faith in is Oklahoma's defense. And they've been good all year. They made me look like a clown because I was calling them out, saying I don't think that it's, all that. I had one good week. I had one really good week where it started to look like my take was going to be good, but it didn't work out. So I'm going to put my faith in Oklahoma. I'm going to put my faith in John Mateer being able to make just a play here, play there. I mean, guys, Ty Simpson has been brutal. Hey, he's been brutal down the stretch. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. It's not like he's just like regressed. He's gone to a whole nother level. We went from him being the number 1 overall draft pick, leader for the Heisman Trophy, to now like he's just another Jimmy and a Joe, right? He's just another dude. So I just don't see if I just don't think I can put faith sitting here and say I think he's going to make enough plays on the road in Norman to be able to kick him off. I wouldn't necessarily be shocked. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to come down to 2 to 3 plays here and there. I mean, it's a 1.5 point spread for a reason, right? But I just don't think I see him making enough plays.
I'm looking at the injury report here, and that was the first question whenever I wanted to break down the analysis of this game. Like, what does it actually stand? Because, we talked about it earlier this week and last week that they are extremely beat up, speaking about Alabama. And, you look at the injury report, I don't see Jam Miller listed at all. Okay, so I think he's full go. However, the backup running back, Riley, number 28, he's a big guy. He is out. And LT Overton's out, which is huge. That is huge. That's like their best player on defense, okay? This is a huge hinge game, shout out Josh Pape, for Alabama's program, I think, and Kalen DeBoer's entire tenure. And the reason why is because, to me, Bama is Alabama. Like, we're in Alabama. You know what I'm saying? They have been Alabama'd by Oklahoma 2 times in a row now. One in their own place, the other to ruin their other season. And now you're going to let them put you out of the playoffs? And by the way, the formula's been the same just about every time, okay? It is make Bama turn the ball over. Don't turn it over yourself. Get a couple sacks, a couple turnovers, run the ball. You'll probably score more points than them. And it's worked. If they pull it off again, it's going to be really, really loud for Kalen DeBoer. And it already is because it's Alabama. But it is going to be jet engine loud in Tuscaloosa for the entire offseason. And just wait until they play Oklahoma again and see how loud it really gets. Because this is starting to become like, I don't want to say it's Kirby and Bama. It's close. It's close. And I don't think there's any truth to Kirby actually struggling with Bama. I think Alabama just plays so out of their freaking minds because they respect Georgia that they beat him every time. Oklahoma does some stuff.
Not every time. Not every time. I mean, we did beat them by 3 scores last time we saw it.
Oh, yeah. What was that? Was that 2 weeks ago? Oh, yeah. Listen, it's just, I feel like I hadn't even stuck in my memory. It's not even in the lexicon because it never happened. Like, you're just like, oh, whoa. But anywho, we just saw Bama at their worst. I think we're going to not see them play at that level again. I'm taking Bama this week. I got a feel on it. I really think Mateer is that far away removed from his injury that it shouldn't matter anymore, but he still has thrown the ball piss poorly. Last time I watched Oklahoma, they played LSU and they barely beat them.
Mateer threw like 3 interceptions that game.
And they had to have a major explosive play in order to go up in that game. And it happened like 6 minutes left in the game. I watched that game like a hawk because I was like, that was huge playoff implications, and nobody cared about Oklahoma LSU, but that was a insane game for them to be able to pull off at home, by the way, at night. Frank Wilson about stole one. So I have little to no confidence in either one of these two teams. It's amazing that we do all this barking about who's going to be the 10th team, who's going to be the 12th team. And the 8 and 9 seeds feel just as weak in terms of how they're playing right now as the 12 seed. I mean, that's where I'm at.
That's what's so backwards about this model that we have. And everyone wants expansion. They want to go to 16 teams. We already have enough mid teams in the playoff. We don't need it. And we're going to expand the 16, right? Because, I mean, just wait until you see the numbers that come out of this game on Friday. They are going to be huge. So many people are going to watch this game. So many people are going to watch the Texas A&M Miami game. It is going to make those schools so much money. So it's not going anywhere. It's not going away. But in the grand schemes of like finding a national champion, there's no point of this. This should be the Cotton Bowl. This should be the Sugar Bowl or something like that.
I'll say this. I think if Alabama wins this game, I have a lot more confidence that Alabama can go and beat Indiana than Oklahoma can go and beat Indiana. Like Oklahoma, there's no chance in hell Oklahoma gets past this game. Like if Oklahoma goes to the Rose Bowl, it'll be nice. Oh, nice, we made it to the Rose Bowl. Like if Alabama goes to the Rose Bowl, like I still think they'll lose. You would think, but I could talk myself into Alabama beating Indiana a lot more than I could talk myself into Oklahoma beating Indiana. And if Alabama, I'm just playing hypotheticals. If Alabama wins this game, and then they go beat Indiana, then all of a sudden you got to be like, oh, here's Alabama. Alabama's back, and then
right back where they were. Like if they do pull out the run game just out of the hat, I mean, it's possible. It's not completely impossible. They pull the run game out of the hat. Like let's say DeBoer has had this thing. He's been layering the play out for weeks. So I want to lose to him twice so I can be in the playoffs next year. You know what I'm saying? That kind of play where he just has been hiding all the run schemes. They're just in the back of the playbook. They look in a closet one day, and him and Ryan Grover's like, we forgot about those plays. Let's go get those. So use those. Very unlikely it happens, but it could.
I mean, last time we saw Jan Miller in the Auburn game, they ran for a lot of yards, right? So
they did, but they had to use.
He'll be back.
They had to use the quarterback run too to help that, and I think that's got to be something they incorporate this game. And the same for Mateer. Mateer's got to stop having these like games where he's got 8 rushes for 28 yards. That's got to not be the thing for Oklahoma to win this game.
Yeah, no, he had a rushing touchdown last time they played Alabama, so seems like he'll need to do something like that again. All right, 2 for Oklahoma, 1 for Alabama. Okay, let's talk about Miami. Going to Texas A&M, Kyle Field. Texas A&M is a minus 3.5 point favorite, over under at 49.5. I think this is universally the game that everyone is most excited for. We already saw Oklahoma, Alabama this season. It's fresh blood. These teams haven't played. These two teams are pretty evenly matched, pretty similar. The quarterbacks stats right here. Let me tell you this. Carson Beck, 3,072 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Marcel Reed, 1,932 yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Obviously, Marcel Reed has some more ability to run with his legs than Carson Beck does. We'll see how that pans out. Miami does have a top 10 rushing defense in the country, so, a little strength on strength there. Both teams have incredible playmakers on the outside with Mario Craver, Casey Concepcion for Texas A&M, Malachi Toney, been one of the best players in college football for Miami this year. Both D-lines are top 20 in sacks and cause quarterbacks to make bad decisions. I just read you the quarterback stats. They will make bad decisions when prompted. Last time we saw Texas A&M, though, they played a team up to their standards and talent in Texas, which was like the first time we had seen them do that since, you could say, Notre Dame back in like week 2 or week 3, whenever that was. And they got wonked. I mean, that's the last time we saw Texas A&M. Miami's been rolling ever since they lost to SMU. Both teams are coming off like 3 weeks rest. Neither played in a conference championship game. The spread's at 3.5, basically telling you that if these teams were playing in the Cotton Bowl or in the Hard Rock Stadium for the Orange Bowl or whatever, that this would basically just be a pick 'em. I'm just going to go with the home field advantage here that Texas A&M is going to have. I've seen Carson Beck struggle in SEC stadiums. I've seen it happen. I've seen him throw multiple interceptions against SEC defenses that cause pressure. I think it'll happen again. I think Miami, as much as they are going to be able to match up like on the lines of scrimmage, and I think this will be another great game, which again, rooting for. Could you imagine? Because the back half 2 games, we're probably not going to get that great of football. But could you imagine after what we did last season, if we could have the first 2 games just be like 1-score games? I mean, oh my God, we would love it. And then I'm just saying. But I'm going to go with A&M. I think Marcel Reed makes less mistakes. I think the defense makes more plays for A&M. I think Carson Beck has one or two plays that you're just going, there he is. There's Sid the Sloth. There's, that's why Haley Cavender, Hannah Cavender, whichever one it was, left them. I'm very excited for this one. I just think A&M, though, I'm just going to give that home field advantage, causing the other team to make some mistakes. I don't think Miami's like the most mentally strong team. They did go on a run and did what they needed to do, but I just think turnovers are going to be a big thing in this game, and Carson Beck is prone to doing that.
Well, this is funny because you were always anti-Texas A&M like all season, and you're picking them to win here, and I was pro-Texas A&M here, and I'm going to pick Miami to go into Aggieland and come away with the win, just for a few reasons. I know we've seen, like, what you say is a valid point. Like, I've seen Carson Beck struggle against SEC defenses. I've seen Marcel Reed struggle against SEC defenses. I watched that South Carolina game, and here's the thing. We can say that second half was awesome. Like, they really came out and they showed something. But, I mean, all that's on tape, and I know that Miami's got a ton of talent on defense, and I think they're going to be able to exploit Marcel Reed's arm. I think they're going to, because if you watch Marcel Reed, he's not attacking you in the mid-game. He's not attacking you with short game. He's attacking you with deep balls, okay? That is his game. He runs, he scampers, then he throws a bomb. That is how Marcel Reed operates, is how he gets the ball down the field. It's not necessarily terrible, but theoretically, it's easier to take away than somebody who's just able to drop back 5 steps, 7 steps, and hit like a 20-yard in or something like that. They do that consistently. That's the hardest thing to stop in the game of football. So my thought here is, I think if we're looking at any team that is playing this weekend that has a chance to really make a run. Now, obviously, these two teams got a crappy draw, and this is the matchup that plays Ohio State next week, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I don't think either of these teams are going to beat Ohio State. But if you're talking in terms of talent and ability to possibly make a run, look no further than the Miami Hurricanes. They have tons of talent. We can look at that SMU game that they lost. I'll say a few things about that. They lost in overtime. They lost on the road. They clearly weren't clicking. But look at since then. They kill Syracuse. They kill NC State. They kill Virginia Tech. They kill Pitt. I mean, they've been rolling ever since that game. I think Miami's playing just as good as ball as anybody. And I look at Texas A&M, and really the two games that just I can't get out of my head for Texas A&M is that first half against South Carolina, where Marcel threw 3-4 picks in the first half, and then that game against Texas, where you look at the scoreboard and it's 27-17. It doesn't look all that bad. They were behind that entire game, and I don't know if there was ever really a spot where I was like, okay, Texas A&M is about to get it rolling. They're about to get back in here. So I think Miami, the home field advantage is real. In Aggieland, it's real. It's like the biggest stadium in college football. They're going to be rocking. They're going to be doing their stupid ass like gun celebration, with their male cheerleaders. But I think Miami's going to be able to get it done.
The interesting adjective you threw in there about the cheerleaders there. Anywho, I'm totally with you. I think that if there's anybody left in this, 8, 9, 10 range of playoff teams, Miami's the most talented team by far. And I'm taking Miami to win this game. I'm taking them to cover as well. I just think the last 2 times I saw Marcel Reed, he turned that bitch over. And I'm talking about the South Carolina game and the Texas game. And you can, Sanford in between there, 48 zip. I don't even think that was a completely clean game out of him. So just go look at the last month of work for Marcel Reed and what it's looked like. I think that the Miami Hurricanes secondary might be the best one that A&M has seen this year, which is something obviously you're probably not going to hear very much of, because who's watching Miami football during the regular season after they, lost to SMU? Nobody. So I think they're going to play well. I think Beck is experienced enough that he'll be able to manage, and hopefully Cristobal and the OC go in there and they tell him that he needs to manage instead of trying to play hero. Like, he doesn't need to go and throw for 330 like he did against Bama 2 years ago on the road. He doesn't need to do that to win this game. He just needs to hand it off, give it to Tony when he needs to, and the defense needs the stuff to run. And that's the other hinge point of all this. Like, I think they're going to stuff Texas A&M running the football. Interesting to see if Le'Veon Moss is able to make a return for this game. I saw there was rumblings that he may be able to play a little bit. And if he does, he goes a little bit better than everybody else that dresses up in Texas A&M uniforms.
All right. So 2 for Miami, 1 for A&M. Again, we are just wanting good games. Give us a classic. Give us something that just has us on the edge of our seats. These are close spreads for a reason. I remember last year, like, none of them were close spreads in the first round. So it's exciting to at least have that. Should be fun. Really excited to see that. All right. And then there's 2 other games. Tulane, Ole Miss, -17.5 over-under 56.5. And James Madison is playing Oregon. Oregon is minus 21. Over-unders at 47.5. I think we all are going to agree that Ole Miss and Oregon are going to win their games. Tulane, if you don't know already, Tulane and James Madison, both their coaches, have Power 4 jobs waiting on them as soon as this is over. Caleb, how hard are you going to be rooting for a Tulane cover or a potential win here with your head coach over there in Oxford?
None. I want them in Gainesville.
Yeah.
I want them to start working. To be honest, I mean, I would like for them to be successful. Obviously, that'd be cool for him, but the Tulane success does nothing for him or me. I mean, it does something for him. It don't do nothing for me at this point. So, yeah, if anything, I want Ole Miss to beat everybody at this point because I feel like they've been so wrong by that loser of a coach. I don't know who would ever want him to be their coach.
I mean, give me something about these games, guys.
I'll give you something. I think what we're going to see is a strong possibility to be the death of the group of 5 in the college football playoff, especially if we stick with the 12-team model, which I don't know if we are next year. The contract ends after this season, if I'm correct, which I believe I am. And they're going to get a 16. If they get a 16, then I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep one bid in there. But I think we're going to see 2 bloodbaths. I think we're looking at a James Madison team who struggled with Troy. Troy was in the game for the majority of it. We're talking about Tulane, who Ole Miss played this season and throttled them. It wasn't even close. We're looking at 2 blowouts here. I'll tell you this. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see James Madison beat Oregon or Tulane beat Ole Miss. I think it'd be hilarious. I think it'd be entertaining. It'd be cool to see. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see 2 bloodbaths. I think we might see some starters get pulled in the fourth quarter to get ready for their games. If Ole Miss is beating the crap out of Tulane, I mean, what's the point of having Trinidad Chambliss there in the fourth quarter to run up the stats? Hey, get off the field. Let's get ready for Georgia next week. That's how I'm thinking.
Actually, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Ole Miss and Tulane, they've played a lot of times.
They're close.
The all-time football series, Ole Miss is 41-27. So they've played 68 times.
Ooh,
So
close, dude.
So
Wait, so this time they play, it'll be what number?
It'll be the 69th time.
Interesting.
James Madison, I don't think I've ever played. James Madison has to go across the country. But I think that's a great point you bring up. Like the fact that we're going to be having playoff games where it's going to be the third quarter and they're probably going to be resting players. Like that is terrible. That is terrible. Where did we come to as a society? Now, let's just say let's play a game. Which one is most likely you go to fourth quarter? It's a 1-score game.
James Madison.
I'd say Tulane. Tulane's
already done it. James Madison plays good football. They legit do. I think like Oregon, there's going to be some psychological stuff to both of these teams just going in there and being like, Ole Miss is going to be up because of all the emotion going around them. I think Oregon has a better chance. What do you mean? Do you think they're not going to play with their hair on fire after?
Yeah, I'm sure they will. But tell me this. When teams come out fired up, they can either do one of 2 things. They can come out and they can play awesome, or Trinidad Chambliss can go out there trying to play Superman and turn the ball over a couple times. I think about the Georgia-Bama game back in the day where they came out in them black jerseys. They're fired up. They're playing Soulja Boy in the stadium. They're swag surfing. They're doing everything. Then they go out there. They make a lot of mistakes in that first half. They get really behind. And if you remember the second half of the blackout, Georgia almost came back in that game. In a way, they played a lot better in the second half. I'll say that. The lead was never in jeopardy, but they played a lot better because at that point they got punched in the mouth. They're like, okay, we need to settle down. We need to play some football. I could see potentially that happening in the Ole Miss game. But if I'm being completely honest, I've not watched a lot of Tulane football this year. I've not watched a lot of JMU football this year. The one JMU game where I watched almost the entire game was the game against Troy, and they did not impress me in the slightest in that one. And it was in their backyard. It was at James Madison. They're playing Troy. Oregon's a good football team. Oregon's a heck of a lot better than Troy. And if JMU could not run the football in that game, they cannot pass the football in that game effectively, who's to say they can do that against Oregon? I think Oregon's going to beat the absolute crap out of James Madison.
I will say this. James Madison has the second best defense in college football in total yards per game.
I'm saying like that's the defense
second against the run, top 10 in points, fifth in third down conversion for defense. So they have like a top 10 defense overall. Now they are playing the Sun Belt, but That that's better than what Tulane brings to the table. Like Tulane has like nothing. They don't rank top. They don't rank top 30 in anything. So now, to be fair, John Summerall has said that multiple times that he doesn't think his team's that good. So I don't know. G5 playoffs. Would we have rather seen them just throw Duke in there?
No, I don't. I don't think you should reward it. I think this is the right outcome for what went on. Jake brought up a funny point to me talking about the death of the group of five. I don't think it's going to be the death of the group of five for this playoff scenario. It's going to be close, though. And what I mean by that is they're just going to limit it to one. Like, you're never going to see two people get in there because, make no mistake about it, there have been in the last 5 years better group of five teams than both of these teams in the playoffs right here, without a doubt. So, like, to say they're irrelevant would basically discount what's happened in history.
For 07 Boise. Can't forget about those guys. That was a dynasty if you think about it. Boise State back in the day. If we had a 12-team playoff back in the day, it'd be crazy. Let me ask you this, Caleb. How many teams do you think should be in the playoff? Like, if it was up to Caleb Spear, how many teams?
8. It would be an 8-team playoff. 8 teams or 7 teams, and you give the 1 seed a bye in the 7-team model. That's the only way that I could see that going on if they could work that out. I don't think you're ever going to see a national champion come from below 10 unless there's somebody that like a Notre Dame this year would have been an example of that could have happened because roster-wise, like, they were good enough. They won 10 games in a row, but you'd have to start 0-2 and finish 10th in order for me to think like, okay, well, you're serious enough. You can go and run. But I just don't find it to be plausible to think somebody below number 8 is ever going to win the national championship game.
Yeah. And really, the only reason we had an 8 win it last year is because of the system we had,
Yeah, but lest we forget who was like the 4 seed last year, right? Was it Boise State? And they played decent against Penn State last year in that game.
But that was because, they had to get the bye, which was the whole thing. But Jake, if you had to pick one head coach to start your team with, would you pick Dan Lanning or Ryan Day?
Well, I'm thinking Kirby Smart.
No. You only have 2 picks. You only have 2 picks. You only have 2 picks.
Ryan Day or Dan.
If you were the Florida Gators who have to hire a new head coach every couple years, and you had 2 choices between Dan Lanning and Ryan Day, who would you choose?
I would say Dan Lanning.
You're out of your mind. Are you serious?
Listen, and this is just because if you follow on Instagram, like I tell you everybody to do, I posted my list of top head coaches. Look, I'm just telling you, Caleb, if Ryan Day, if we didn't have a 12-team playoff, Ryan Day would still not be a national championship coach. And everyone praises this guy. Everyone praises this guy. Like he's the second best coach in college football.
Also, talk about being born on third base. That was like he inherited an incredible roster. And then you say what you will about the Big Ten. I'm not going to get on here and start saying that they're a bad conference. That's not, number one, that's not accurate. Number two, that's not what I stand for. I think they have a lot of really good teams. But look at their schedule this year. Like, who did they really need to get by in the regular season? They kind of had 12-0 kind of in the bag. They had one test all season, win that game. Last year
hasn't won the Big Ten since COVID.
Yeah,
because he's lost to Michigan so many times. There's a Harbaugh run that's stuck in there, and you're going to sit here and tell me that you would take Harbaugh?
Couldn't beat Cignetti.
The guy's won a national championship. He's done it in ways that most coaches in the country haven't gotten it done. Like, how many other coaches in the country do you think would have a team that went in the playoffs 10-2 and would win it, especially after getting your heart ripped out? Like, those players came back for everything,
and
it got pulled for them in one day because of one game.
It's never been possible.
With Emeka Buga, with those running backs.
Who the hell got him there? Like, that roster didn't just show up when Urban Meyer
paid $20 million. It was the highest paid roster in football.
Okay, so are we going to reward him, or we're going to say, all right, there's an asterisk on all of these?
I'm not saying he's a bad coach.
No one's saying.
What has Dan Lanning done that's better than what Ryan Day has done?
I think he's taken a program that he inherited. I'm not trying to say that Oregon was in a bad spot, but he took Oregon to the Big Ten, a much tougher conference in the Pac-12. He's played a lot.
Go ahead. Sorry.
He took his conference to a much tougher place, than the Pac-12. Pac-12, they needed to beat USC every year, right? And, okay, nice. We found our way into the playoff. That was how it was for years for Oregon. But now they're in the Big Ten. They got to play big boy football. They got to play Indiana. They got to play Ohio State. They got to play Michigan. They're winning these games. I think Dan Lanning and Ryan Day have matched up one time And who won that game?
Twice. They've played twice because they played twice last season, and they went 1-1.
And Ryan Day smoked that ass in the.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Would you take Cignetti over Ryan Day?
He's too old. I mean, to build your team right now.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you, Dan Lanning is probably, half the age Cignetti is, maybe not that much. And people forget Dan Lanning did exactly what Cignetti did last year. He was 13-0, won the Big Ten, did the exact thing.
It was at Oregon, though. Oregon
was the number one team in the country. Number one team in the country, Heisman finalist quarterback. He has basically the same record as Ryan Day does. And Ryan Day just had a $20 million roster. That's all I'm telling you. If I was picking a coach, I'd pick Dan Lanning over Ryan Day any day. And you're not alone, Kay. A lot of people in my comment section saying some mean things to me. But hey, just so everybody knows, I would never, ever post something for clicks.
Never.
I'm not in the content game at all. I'm not.
The Gunnar Stockton Heisman was like, listen, I love Gunnar Stockton, love their dogs.
Dude,
that was the definition of clickbait. Definition of clickbait.
That one, yeah, you can talk about clickbait. That one got plenty of clicks. I don't know if you've checked the stats on that one, but that one got a lot of clicks. And that, again, that it's something we feel, or I feel. I'm not going to speak for you guys because, again, I do most of the content. These guys like to live their own lives, and Jake has the password to the Instagram and, just wants to like a bunch of political stuff and never do any sports stuff. But that's a whole different discussion. But anyway, let's move on. I just wanted to have that discussion, Caleb. Okay.
Can I ask one last thing? Hear me out here. If Dan Lanning was at Ohio State, how many games do you think he would lose in 7 years?
I think he's beaten Michigan a lot more than Dan Lanning. Than Ryan Day is. I think he has more than one national championship. We can talk
beat
about
Georgia. Dan Lanning would have beat Georgia.
It's the only other team. He probably would have recruited a way better kicker. You seen the guy you got now?
Listen, some guy drilled one from 50 in the Georgia high school state championships.
Defense would have definitely been
1A at a 1A private school. They have 400 people in their entire school.
But they got one that can boot it.
All right. Let's talk about the NFL Week 16. Big news, if you guys didn't know this. There are no division winners yet. There's no division clinchers yet. Nobody has clinched a division in Week 16. It's first time since 2016 we've gotten this late in the year without one. And
Sorry about it. That's on us.
Yeah. So no T-shirts and hats have been given out yet. Rams are playing the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football to start the NFL slate this week. Huge game. The Seahawks right now, let me double check this. Is this right? The Seahawks are minus 1.5 point favorites. Over under is at 42.5. 11-3 versus 11-3. First time in Thursday Night Football history that two teams have 11 wins and they're playing in the games. Rams won the first matchup at home a month ago, 21-19. Rams have won a lot of games this year by having one of the most potent offenses in the NFL, if not the most potent, however you say that. Playing a good enough defense and keeping teams out of the end zone. They have the third best scoring defense in the NFL. They won last week's game. They scored 41 points against the Lions. Seahawks have an offense that can be explosive. But they mostly dominate on defense. The Mike McDonald defense has been stellar this year. Last week, they won a game where they didn't even score a touchdown, and they won the game. They moved 6 field goals. They're top 5 in pretty much every category on defense. They are awesome on defense. We're going to see the 2 best wide receivers in the league this year, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua. It's going to be a fun one on Thursday night. I'm very excited to watch it. I think that the home field advantage that Seattle will have is probably why they're a little bit favored in this one, because I think a lot of people, probably think the Rams are a little bit better. They obviously won the first matchup. It was a close one. What do you guys think?
Well, I'll say this. I completely thought it was Thursday. I was excited to watch this game tonight. It is not tonight. It is Wednesday. And that's a bummer. That's a bummer.
I did kind of think that too at one point today.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, that really sucks. All right. Well, I'll say this. It looks like Devontae Adams has just been moved to doubtful, so I don't think he's going to play. I think that's a bigger deal than people want to give credit to. Obviously, Puka is incredible, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but I think looking at Matt Stafford, he's having arguably the best season of his career. 37 touchdowns, 5 picks, over 3,700 yards already in the season. I think that's a big deal, though. I think that's a big deal. Having a number 2 as potent as Devontae Adams is a lot helpful, for an offense. I'm going to go with Seattle, figuring it out. I'm going to go with Seattle getting the big win here. I think this is going to be an absolute beast of a game. I was really excited to watch it tonight. Really upset. I already, Garrison, when you're talking, I trying to get the points in my head, ready to go. And I was going to start with, well, by the time this episode comes out, we're already going to know who wins. And then I saw on the ESPN screen tomorrow. And that really hurt.
Yeah, and we do the podcast every Wednesday.
Yeah, and when I joined the Zoom call, you're like, "Happy Hump Day." That's not.
I just think that Seattle, it's going to be tough for them to be beat twice. And the Rams already took it to them once this year, and it was not long ago. It was in the middle of November. I think that this is a due for a split situation. I mean, that's good for the home team.
All right. So you got Seattle.
Yep. Just think Sam Darnold, like you said, the guys are going to play well. I think that the Rams are really going to miss Devontae Adams. Jake's over here dabbing.
Big sneeze.
Yeah, Seattle.
Okay. All right. Should be a fun one in the NFC West. No division will be clinched there yet. I mean, and people forget San Francisco still sitting out there at 10-4, edging on the edge of the race. Another big division race. Packers are playing the Bears for the NFC North. Bears are -1.5, over under at 46.5. This is a Saturday game, so while you're locked in on your Oregon James Madison game, if it gets out of hand for any reason, I'm not sure it would, but if it does, you can flip over, watch the Bears Packers rematch from 13 days ago or 13 days prior to when this game's playing. Lambeau Field, first game, Packers won that one 28-21. This is the first game without Micah Parsons for the Packers. He just tore his ACL. How will that defense hold up? And more specifically, the pass rush for the Packers. The Bears have been a great rushing team this season all year long, top 5 in rushing. You would assume that they're going to be able to have a little more time to pass the ball. You're going to assume the play action might work a little bit better without Micah Parsons. Jordan Love, I feel like, just going to have a really good game, and he's been playing a lot better. The last couple weeks, he had some rough interceptions against Denver last week, but they're down. He's trying to make some plays. LaFleur is going to have he's going to have to outduel Ben Johnson. He talked a lot of shit on Ben Johnson last time, said he always wants to beat him. He didn't last time. There was a little, crazy, little tense handshake there at midfield last game. I'm not sure Matt LaFleur is going to be able to do that, though. I'm not sure Jordan Love's going to be able to do that, though. I'm putting some faith in the Bears. I like the revenge spot at home this week. I think the Micah Parsons injury is going to be huge. I think the Packers have, they've been winning games. They've been good. I think they're, the game against Denver last week may have took some out of them. Christian Watson's obviously a little banged up. I mean, I just feel like the Bears are going to get it. I feel like they're going to get this one at home on a Saturday night. They lose to the Packers on Sundays all the time, but no one ever said anything about a Saturday.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up about Christian Watson, because if you look at the splits when Christian Watson is active and playing versus when he's not, this Packers offense is a lot better with him on the field. You couple that with losing Micah Parsons, losing a guy who's arguably the best defensive end in football over the last 5 years. I mean, maybe Myles Garrett, but outside of that, I mean, there's no conversation for anyone else, right? Losing that guy is going to take a toll. It's going to take a toll on that defense. And you think about the assets they traded away with that as well. It's a really tough blow for the Packers defense. So, and I'll also say this. I mean, we can look at the success that Bo Nix had on them last week. Now, Bo Nix is a really shifty guy. It's one of his best abilities. Caleb Williams can run around too. I mean, and I'm saying, if I'm Matt LaFleur, or excuse me, if I'm Ben Johnson, I'm looking at that film and I'm going to try and recreate some of that with the legs of Caleb Williams. I'll also say this. Caleb Williams has been playing heck of a lot great football recently. Like, if you saw that throw that Caleb Williams had to DJ Moore last week in the 7 degrees weather that they were playing in, this guy's built for it. He had a slow rookie season, but he is, if I had a vote for most improved player in the NFL this year, it's going to Caleb Williams. I mean, the guy's looked night and day better than he did last year. So I'm going to go with the Bears as well to be able to get it done. The acrylic assassin, Caleb Williams, is going to be able to get it done.
Another vote from the Bears here for me as well. I know last week, honestly, their performance on offense against Cleveland kind of convinced me. Before last week, crazy enough, once they lost to Green Bay, I was kind of like, well, maybe they're kind of frauds. You know what I mean? Like, they're just, they'll be a wild card team. They played well enough early in the year. But to say they're going to win a playoff game would be crazy. I'm kind of on board now because they did that against a really, really good Cleveland defense, and then also just absolutely made Cleveland's offense look elementary. And Shedeur has played well. He looked completely opposite of what he had done 2 weeks prior to that this past week against the Chicago Bears. And You guys bring up the injury stuff. It's huge. That stuff matters this late in the season, especially when you've kind of established your identity and you're going to have to go away from it. Like losing Micah Parsons for a game is huge. Losing him for the entire rest of your run and what the morale level does to in the building, player-wise, up front, what they're going to have to now battle to stop the run. I mean, that is a crucial part of winning football games. He's just as good there. He gets all the flash on the sacks and stuff, but he plays run defense too. I'm just interested to see, like Jake said, with all the assets gone, they got rid of the D-tack Kenny Clark. That's going to be hugely felt now that Micah Parsons is not there. We'll see how they bounce back. So I think the Bears get their own division win at home.
Yeah, I mean, losing your best defensive player, then also losing your best pass catcher, it's tough. It's tough to rebound a week later and play in a rivalry game on the road. It's going to be brutal.
Yeah. After you just had to take it from Denver on the road, and you just beat this team 2 weeks ago too, by the way. Like the tape is fresh.
Yeah. And again, huge game for the NFC North. These division races are very tight. So the seeds, they're going to get shifted around hard. All right. Not a division game, but a huge game for the AFC playoff race. Jags are going to Denver to play the Broncos. Broncos are 3-point favorites. Over-under is 46.5. Trevor Lawrence coming off the big game, which got him very close to winning the Player of the Week for Deep Shot Sports. Just one vote off.
Absolutely unreal.
Jags have won 5 games in a row. Broncos have won 11 games in a row. Huge game, as I mentioned, for seeding purposes. Both teams have slight leads in their divisions. Obviously, Denver has it over the Chargers. Almost said San Diego there. And then Jacksonville has it over Houston. So, both teams, if they lose, they're putting themselves in some dire situations where, the last 2 weeks are going to be very crucial, which they already are, but you know what I'm saying. The Broncos defense, obviously very well known. We've been talking about them all year, pretty much since last season. The Jags defense is definitely slept on, though. Best defense against the run in the National Football League. The Broncos are not much of a great running team anyway. They're kind of in the back half in NFL and rushing. The Jags are very vulnerable against the pass on defense, and Bo Nix is having a good year. So, Jake, tell me how the Jags win this game.
Man, I'll tell you this. The Broncos have an insane defense, but it's not just everyone wants to just look at Nick Bonito and look at the pass rush. No, I mean, it's a lot more than that. They have a really good secondary. They have good safeties. They have good corners. They have good linebacker play. They have good interior defensive line play than we know about their pass rush. They are good in every single facet of defense. Their offense is looking really good. Bo Nix is looking really good. Cortland Sutton's looking really good. Troy Franklin, I believe is his name, 14, new guy. He's looking really good. So, and they're 7-0 at home at Mile High. This is going to be a test. This is absolutely going to be a test. But I would look at Trevor Lawrence's stats over the last 5 weeks. He's number 1 in quarterback rating. He's number 1 in pass yards. He's number 1 in touchdowns. He's number 1 in all the other stats. He's playing the best football in the league right now. And this isn't a biased stat. This is a fact stat. Ever since Jacoby Myers has come to town, Trevor Lawrence has been playing out of his mind. It has improved. Brian Thomas Jr., he was able to catch a touchdown last week. He's finally able to do what he needs to do, which is not run across the middle. It's to get downfield. That's
you imagine if Travis Hunter was still there?
I wish he was. Because you talk about the weakness against the pass. I mean, Travis was playing pretty good corner play before he got hurt. I wish Travis was still healthy. So I see all that. And while I say I think this is going to be a tough game for the Jags, it's going to be a really tough game. I think there's a path. I think there's a way. Travis Etienne Jr. has been playing really good as well. So Trevor needs to keep it up. He also, over the last 5 games, Trevor Lawrence has 11 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions, 0 picks in 5 weeks. And, there were people, talking about my video I put up the other day saying, it's the New York Jets. I mean, Josh Allen threw for 140 yards and a pick against the New York Jets. I mean, you can look at plenty of games that it's the NFL. These are professional football players. I understand that some teams are worse than others, but it's still people who go out there and play football for money, for lots of money on that team. There's a lot of good players, and Trevor goes for 380 and 6 touchdowns and somehow does not win Player of the Week. Somehow.
Kyle Pitts, dude.
Ridiculous. Okay, here's my thing. We're going to see somebody else in the NFL go for 160 this week. We're going to see it. We're going to see it. We might see it. 3 touchdowns. I didn't say that part because that might not happen. But we're going to see somebody with 11 catches, 150 plus this week. We're going to see it. We aren't going to see somebody go for 380 and 6 tuds. That's not going to happen. If it happens, call me out, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I think the Jags can be able to get an upset. I like their odds. Yes, I'm a little biased on this. I mean, look at my background. If I was unbiased, I might have a different conclusion, but I'm not going to go on here and pick against the Jags. Give me the Jags.
Man, that background looks a little different than the one you were wearing back there earlier this year.
Yeah, it's going to stay like this until Raheem Morris is out of town.
Look, I just, you're talking about Trevor Lawrence's passing numbers the last couple games, and they've been phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. I think if they put the ball
not just phenomenal, the best, better than everyone.
Well, that's an opinionated statement.
No,
there. I
it's
mean,
not.
I know he had
It's
like
not.
five
It's not.
touchdowns.
It's not opinionated. It's not opinionated.
Some people
it's
literally
stats-based.
said that Kyle Pitts had a better game.
Well, they don't know ball. And I'm saying if we're looking over the last 5 weeks, saying that Trevor has been phenomenal, but is not accurate. He's been the best quarterback in the NFL.
And
the
when you're posting
NFL.
stuff on social media, you don't ever want to do anything just for the clicks. Like you don't.
Nope.
When you're in it based in Atlanta and you put up Kyle Pitts versus Trevor Lawrence, like you
shocker.
I mean. Like I said, no, we don't do anything for clicks here.
And I didn't even get the butt out of what I was going to say about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's defending this guy like he is Michael Penix almost. I think if you throw the ball 30 times in a game against Broncos secondary, I just don't trust your ability to keep the ball from going in their hands at least once or twice. Like they're going to turn the ball over if he puts it in the wind 30 times like he has the last 4 games on average, okay? And then I can just honestly question, I have not watched enough Jags football. Do you think they can block Denver's front the entire game?
They have good tackles. They have been protecting Trevor really well. They have good tackles. I mean, they haven't played Nick Bonito. So
Nick Bonito is a bad man. And I think there's a lot more other playmakers. I mean, the reigning defensive player of the year is over there in Pat Surtain, right? So, and he is one of, 3 or 4 defensive backs that they've got that are extremely good. I think the Broncos win this game. I don't necessarily have a pick or a cover on this and that, but I just think that Denver is going to be able to hand the football off a little bit better than the Jags will against the Denver defense. And I think that the lesser throws, the better, because one of them's going to turn it over because these secondaries do play pretty well.
All right. Should be a fun one. Your boy Art going, Caleb? It's a big game.
I think he is, actually. I think he is. If he's
out.
not going this week, he's going to the next week's game.
Shout out.
Boy, me and him have been chirping each other a lot because we're fighting for the 1 seed in our conference right now. I think he's going to get it. I think his team's better. I may have picked his team to win the division at the beginning of the year. I didn't think they'd be the 1 seed, but I thought they'd be close.
Well, let's talk about your team. The Patriots are going to Baltimore to play the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Ravens are 3-point favorites, over under 48.5. Pat's obviously coming off their first
clickbait. Talk about clickbait.
Pat's coming off their first loss in a while. Underdogs on the road against a desperate Ravens team. The Ravens have to get a win to stay alive in their division because it looks like, the Steelers and them, they're like 1 game off. But, I think if the Steelers get a 2-game lead, it's going to be tough. Look, you guys know I come over here and I give you guys stats. Look, I look at all the stats. I look at everything. I just don't say a way. I don't see a way in which the Patriots should lose this game. Right? Caleb, right? I'm being honest here. The Ravens are not a good football team.
Unless Lamar Jackson just starts playing like, MVP Lamar Jackson, which he has not been, but maybe, here and there all year. And it wasn't like a full game. He's done it yet. Unless that just comes out of nowhere and the Ravens are just playing on fire, no, shouldn't happen.
Or the other scenario is, now, Jake, you tell me if this is a possible scenario. Or the Patriots frauds.
Yeah,
okay.
I think
can I go to the bathroom real quick before we start this?
I think there's definitely a shot. I think there's definitely a shot. And here's my thing. Caleb, come sit down. Come sit down. Caleb, come back. Caleb, come here. Caleb, come here.
I missed something.
Just sit down. Just sit down. Let me talk to you.
I gotta use the bathroom.
Let's talk this out. Listen, I'm not saying the Pats are frauds. I'm not saying it's a thing that is like etched in history and like they are as a fact. I think there's definitely a possibility they're fraudulent. This is a team that lost to the Las Vegas Raiders. Let us not forget that, right?
It's a possibility that gas should be free right now because oil is negative. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking?
That's a great comparison.
Possible.
I do think it's possible for the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. I think what we saw out of Derrick Henry last week finally getting going, and that's got to be scary to see. 11 carries, 100 yards, blowout win over the Cincinnati Bengals. They made Joe Burrow look terrible. He threw a pick 6. This Baltimore defense is starting to come alive. I think they're playing good football. At home. night game. The blackout's going to be sick. Then we're going to be able to see vintage Lamar. I think Lamar's going to have his best game of the season. I think they're going to take down the Patriots.
Okay, well, we've won 10 out of 11. So if you want to talk about who's playing good football, I think you look nowhere else in the NFL but New England currently. Look, I understand that the Ravens have been playing well this last week, just one week against Cincinnati, who, by the way, they lost to 2 games ago, 32-14. But they're somehow just I think you're preying on the downfall, Jake.
I think the Patriots have great wins, over the Giants, over the Bengals, over the Jets, over the Bucks, over the Falcons, over the Browns, over the Titans, over the Saints.
Bills game.
That was the game before, and they weren't playing that good, and you did lose to the Bills last week, so that kind of nulls it out. And then over Carolina and the Miami Dolphins. So that's every single win y'all have this year.
Man, this guy, okay, is this 60 minutes? What are we doing on the team here? Like, who did the Broncos lose to at the beginning of the year, huh? They're 12-2. They're the 1 seed. We didn't say shit about who they started off 0-2 to. I'm pretty sure they lost to the Steelers at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Steelers are better than a lot of the teams that y'all have beaten. Like, a lot. I think 10 out of the 11 teams y'all beat, I think they have a better record than.
It's possible we're fraudulent. It's also possible that we end the season 13-4.
Fair. And like I said, I'm not saying it's a fact that the Pats are fraudulent. I'm just saying there's a chance. I need to see it. I just need to see it. That's my thing. There's a lot. We're in week 16 of the NFL, and I still don't feel like I've seen it. True or false? Can you at least agree to that?
I think that I've seen the quarterback play well enough that I think we could beat anybody.
You think we can win the Super Bowl?
All those games over 300 yards, yeah.
I don't think we can win the Super Bowl because we're not explosive enough or good enough up front on offense.
But you can beat anybody.
In any given game, I don't think we can go on a consecutive run of games and beat people. I mean, we did win 10 in a row, but I don't think we're going to see New York, Cincy, Jets, Buffalo, Tampa in a row in the playoffs. Well, look, this is a big test for this week. And we're dogs. We're 11-3 and we're dogs for a reason. I mean, I understand it's on the road. It'd be a split in the neutral site, whatever. Give me a break. We're 11-3, pal. And you're Vegas, this is clickbait. This is what we're talking about right here. Stuff like this.
Never.
Fired up. I have a pick later in this game, by the way.
I would never again, ever do anything for clicks. It is hard-nosed analysis that got us to 100 followers for 4 years. It wasn't until I would never start doing clickbait to get us to over 2,000. Never in my life. Okay, let's do our NFL best bets. Also, our jersey draft that we did. It's technically the poll's still up on that post. Again, follow on Instagram and TikTok. Right now, I have the lead. There's still about 20 hours left to vote because Instagram doesn't let you do a 24-hour poll, but it's if you go to the comment sections, go to our NFL uniform draft right now. I've got 42% of the vote. You guys both have 29%. So do with that what you will. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's get into our NFL best bets for the weekend. I'll start off. I feel like this year there has been more double-digit spreads in the NFL than ever before. Like, I think about last year, 2 years, any year. I never used to see, it seems like every week you see double-digit spreads. I feel like I used to just literally never see them. Like, you would see them once or twice a year. I mean, it's insane. I'm going with another big one, though. Buffalo Bills are playing the Cleveland Browns on the road. They need to obviously keep playing catch-up with New England to try to win the AFC East. I think I said the Bills last episode. I think they can win the Super Bowl. I think they'll represent the AFC. I think the Browns are awful. I think Shedeur Sanders is awful. And he's going to have to try to outduel Josh Allen, who could be an MVP candidate. So I just really like the Buffalo Bills here. Must-win game. James Cook, by the way, if you didn't know, 1,415 rushing yards this year. Just an absolute dog. No pun intended. Give me the Buffalo Bills to beat the Browns -10.
I like that one. It's a lot of points. Another one that really stuck out to me just looking is the Pittsburgh Steelers +7 on the road playing the Detroit Lions. Listen, I've said I feel like I've been the pro Steelers guy on the podcast this year, and I'm fine with it. I'm just an Aaron Rodgers truther. I think we saw some vintage A-Rod the other night against Miami. And they're not playing incredible football, but they've won 2 straight. They're playing the team against the Detroit Lions. Like, if you look at this defense, like what they've allowed over the last 4 weeks, they allowed 27 to the Giants, 31 to the Packers, 30 to the Cowboys, and 41 last week to the Rams. This defense for Detroit is not playing very good football. They're not playing very good football. They're turning the page, and they're starting to play better overall, but the defense isn't looking great. They've lost 2 out of their last 3. I think I'm going to go with the Steelers to be able to at least cover a touchdown. I think that's a crazy, stupid line to get them 7 points. If it was 3, I don't think I'd take it. It's a touchdown, I'll take it.
So I told you I had to pick later. In the New England game, I'm taking the underdog to win, cover, whatever you want to hear. I'm sick of this talk, honestly, about fraud this, fraud that. 11 games later, 11 wins later, okay, we're sitting here as underdogs to a 7-7 team that just beat a team last week that their quarterback is talking on camera like he wants to retire. That's who they beat, okay? Give me the Pats +3. Can't understand what Vegas is thinking here. Maybe it's just to piss me off and Mike Vrabel and everybody else who pays attention to that. Let's go Pats, okay? I'm a little fired up just because I understand that after last week, there's going to be some doubts, right? There's going to be some naysayers, and we got to lank, if you know what I mean.
Let a naysayer know.
And this week is that week. Pats +3. On national TV, by the way. We're going to do it on NBC in front of everybody. Next game, I'm going with something involving y'all's team. The Falcons are playing the Cardinals this week. I think this game is got over written all over it, okay? It is at 48.5. I think the Falcons with Kirk Cousins has been serviceable offensively. Maybe Drake London comes back this week, add some more production for them on offense. And then also turn the page, Jacoby Brissett's playing like a top 10 quarterback statistically like the last 10 weeks of the season. Whatever he's been, since he's been playing last month and a half too, he's been on fire. So I think this game goes in the over 48.5 for sure, in the 50s.
I need Drake London to come back, and I need him to play out of his mind. For both of my fantasy leagues I'm still alive in, I need him to go crazy.
Me too.
For my second best bet, we talked about this game. I'm going to go with the Jaggies. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars money line +136. I just can't turn a blind eye to the football that the Jags have been playing over the last 5 weeks. They're playing out of their mind. Trevor Lawrence is playing out of their mind. It's a huge game, man. I'm telling you, listen, if the Ravens can catch the Pats slipping this week and the Jags can take care of business in Denver, the Jags got a shot at that 1 seed. It's opened right up for them. Right up. We'll see. We'll see what comes of that. But yeah, give me the Jags +136.
All right. Fun game going down in Nashville, Tennessee this weekend.
Oh my God, no way you're picking this game.
The
There's
Gardner
no way you're picking this game.
Minshew-led Chiefs are going to play Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans, who are 0-7 at home this year. But give me the Titans +3 to cover against the Chiefs. Gardner Minshew known for, being a little careless with the ball. This Chiefs team has given up, and we know the receivers have had a hard time. The offense has not been meshing well with Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback. Okay, they're not going to mesh well with Gardner Minshew. Give me the Titans to pull off the slight upset here. +3 pick. My last pick is I'm going to go with the Eagles -6.5. They're playing on Saturday as well against the Commanders. Commanders, another team that I think is just giving up. Yeah, they beat the Giants last week, but the Eagles, they beat the Raiders 31-0. So they've got it figured out. We would assume. That's what we're going to assume. Okay. And I just think the Eagles really need it. They need to put their foot on the throat, and I think they're going to do it. I think Saquon found a little something last week. They're going to keep that going. It's going to open up Jalen Hurts to not make many mistakes. A.J. Brown had a touchdown or 2 last week. I mean, just keep it going. Offense is going to score a lot of points. Give me the Eagles -6.5. Also, real quick, tell me, can you guys tell me the cheapest ticket in the NFL this week?
Jets Saints.
Where's the Saints game at?
New Orleans.
Yeah, it's got to be New Orleans, dude. They've been the cheapest all year.
Give me another guess. Give me one more guess. If it's not them, it has to be Falcons Cardinals.
So the set Jets Saints is at $14 to get in. Falcons Cardinals is at $11.
No way.
And
upset alert.
Dang, dude. And let me tell you, dude, I'm going to Arizona next week or no, after Christmas, so 2 weeks from now. Man, dude, I would have found my way to the red zone to watch this $11 game. I mean, come on.
Yeah, why not? Why not? So there's one game we did not talk about. That's pretty big. The Bucs and the Panthers are playing this week to put a stranglehold on the NFC South. I mean, I feel like the winner of this game, I don't think they clinch it, but I mean, pretty much put it away. Like if
they play twice. So they
do they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going with the Buccaneers on the road +3. I think they're a better team. I think the Panthers have been playing they've been playing good football, man. And I'm not on here gonna, down this team. They're definitely outperforming what they expected out of their squad this year. And I think Callahan is finding himself some things to work with Bryce Young, but I think the Bucs, at the end of the day, are just the better team, and I think we see these Cinderellas happen each and every year. Teams playing a little bit outside their zone, but I think the Bucs are just finally going to be able to put this division away because they're the best team in the division. There's no question about it.
Can't beat the
What was the line
Falcons.
on that?
3. Tampa
Plus
Bay
or
minus. Tampa Bay -3.
Okay. I had one of that game. That game wrote down as maybe, possibly, could be potentially the last pick for my game, and I had it, Panthers +3, and I was like, wait a minute, who's getting the free money here? Me or Jake? It's me, actually. I'm getting the money. Panthers +3 this week. I think that nobody wants to win the NFC South, so it might as well just be the Panthers. Why not? Why not? I think seeing what the Bucs were acting like at the end of last week, tough loss maybe, just didn't seem like anybody cared except for Mike Evans, in my opinion. And that's rare to say for a team that's got Baker Mayfield as a quarterback. Look, I know they're well aware that they're in the midst of the division, all this and that. I get it. This would be special to win this game in Carolina, truly. Like, this is something they don't come across very, very often. When's the last time they won a division? Cam?
Gotta be. Super Bowl year?
Yeah, I think it was Super Bowl year.
Give me the Panthers +3. Jake's
Big
camera
weekend.
made it all the way to the
There
the
oh, there we go.
podcast,
He's
dude.
back. Yeah, that'll wrap us up for episode 38. Big weekend in football. Again, clinching divisions on the line. College football playoff first round. It's going to be fun. We're going to be back on Sunday to recap it all. Thank you guys again for listening. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, follow on the socials, and we'll see you guys in a couple days. Deep Shot out.